We're here for you. Yum bum 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 yum bum 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 bum.
Until I open it up, and the truth is.
Yum ba ba bum bum bum. Yum bum 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 yum ba ya da da ya da 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 da. Ma tovu o ha'alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu o ha'alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. How awesome are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. I, through all your love, enter your house. I bow down 'cause it's awesome to be in your holy temple. Ma tovu o ha'alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu o ha'alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. I will humbly bow down low before Adonai, my Maker. As for me, my prayer come to you, Adonai, at a favorable time. O God, in your abundant faithfulness, answer me with your sure deliverance. Ma tovu o ha'alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu o ha'alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Boker Tov, everyone.
Boker Ol.
Let's try that one more time. Let's see if we can hear everybody in here and everybody in their classrooms. Boker Tov, everyone.
Boker.
Much better. Good morning. It is wonderful to see you all, and we are going to stand up. We're going to reach up real tall, up out of our seats, and stand up for the Baruch Hu on page 2.
Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Okay, and let's take one more big stretch. Oh my gosh, we're so tired this morning. Okay, and take your arms up to the sky and put them over your eyes for the Shema so we can concentrate.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Okay, and we'll take a seat now, and we'll continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 3 with Miss Wendy's Ve'ahavta.
You shall love the Lord your God with all your soul and with all of your might. Hold on tight as you go, teach them what you know. Teach them as they grow. Teach them so they know. Teach them so they know.
And now we're going to turn to the Mi Chamocha. It's on the bottom of page 3, and this is a prayer about freedom. So I want you to think of a time when you've had something difficult or something that's kind of holding you back. And I want you to think about how good it felt when you got to do that thing and get it done and you were free. And think just how good the Israelites must have felt when they crossed the Sea of Reeds into freedom.
Ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Norah tehilot, osef eleh. Norah tehilot, osef eleh. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
And we are going to stand up big and tall in our classrooms and in here. Stand up as tall as you can. We are going to continue with Tefillah, the center of our service, on page 4.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chaste Avot V'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
Okay, and we'll take a second for silent prayer and pray the words that are in your heart. And when you're finished, go ahead and have a seat.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Oh, you guys have it. Let's do it again. Here we go. עושה שלום Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Shalom במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן, אמן, ואמרו אמן.
Okay, and I'd like you to take a second to think about people in your life who maybe could use a little prayer for healing. Maybe they are sick, and maybe they are just not having a really great day, and you want to wish them some healing for their minds, their bodies, their souls. And we are going to think about those people as we say the Misha Berach on page 5.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו, may the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say all together, Amen.
Boker Tov, everyone.
Boker.
So I want to tell you a story. It took place a long time ago in a town called Pragal. Kind of like Prague, but not exactly, so Pragal. And there was a man named Harold Frankenbagel. And if you might have guessed by his name, Harold Frankenbagel made bagels. He owned the best bagel shop in all of Pragal. People came from near and far to order his bagels. And he made every type of bagel. They were always delicious. Plain, sesame, poppy seed, everything bagels, cheese bagels, onion bagels. The only thing he couldn't do was make a good cinnamon raisin bagel because it's impossible to make a good cinnamon raisin bagel. And even on Sundays, he made little tiny bagel bites that he'd give away to all the kids in town. Everybody loved Harold Frankenbagel, but he had a little bit of a secret that nobody knew. In a room in the back of his shop, he would experiment with crazy bagel flavors that no one had ever heard of or ever tried. He tried making ice cream flavored bagels, or chicken soup flavored bagels, celery bagels, or even liver and onion bagels. The weirdest things you could think of. And the more he experimented, the crazier things got. For the 4th of July, he tried to make a bagel that when you cut into it, fireworks sparked out of the side. For Rosh Hashanah, he experimented with a bagel that when you took a bite out of it, it made the sound of a shofar. He tried everything he could to make these weird bagels, and he found he was working so hard he needed help. So come October, he decided to make his most ambitious attempt yet, to make a bagel that could talk and walk and assist him in his bagel shop. So one stormy night late in October, while he was working on this, he called it his bagolum. And while he was working on his bagolum, lightning struck his bagel shop, and the bagolum sprung to life, became alive. Yeah, I know. It smashed out of the doors of his shop and started wandering all around Prague. The next morning, across all the newspapers, there were reports of people who had seen this giant walking bagel all over town. Now, most people, probably like you, thought, there's no way this could happen. There's not a giant walking and talking bagel walking through Prague. But one person believed it and was worried, the town rabbi, and he went by the name of the Maharal. And so the Maharal went to Frankenbagel and asked him, is this yours? Did you make this bagel? And at first, Frankenbagel said, no, absolutely not. I would never make a giant bagolum that would walk around and terrorize the city. And just as he said that, through the wall, the bagolum came smashing in and took all of the cream cheese in Frankenbagel's shop and ate it all, absorbed it all, and grew even bigger. And at this point, Frankenbagel couldn't lie anymore. He couldn't hide it and said, yes, I did create it. And Maharal, I need your help stopping it because the more breakfast foods the bagolum absorbs, the bigger he'll get, and soon he'll be unstoppable. So they started following the bagolum, and they saw it was about to enter the lox factory. And if it absorbed all of the lox, if it ate all of the lox they had in Prague, it would grow so big they'd never be able to stop it. So the Maharal thought quickly and said, I know, we just have to plan to eat the bagolum. And Harold Frankenbagel was shocked. Plan to eat? How can we do that? It's a giant 10-foot tall walking bagel. How are we going to eat that? And the Maharal said, no, we don't have to eat it. We just have to plan to eat it. Maybe with, a side of eggs and some cream cheese and jelly spread on it. And Frankenbagel thought this was weird, but played along and said, yeah, and maybe with some orange juice and a side of cantaloupe. And the Maharal and Frankenbagel went back and forth, coming up with new ideas for what they could have on the side with the giant bagolum. And the bagolum started to slow down. It was moving slower. And the more things they thought about eating with it, the slower and slower the bagolum moved, until finally it stopped and fell over. Thank you. And when they walked over, they went to touch the bagolum, and they went to knock on it, and they realized the bagolum was hard as a rock. It had gotten totally stale. And Frankenbagel said, I don't understand. How did you know this would work? And the Maharal said, well, it's true of all types of bagels. Once you plan on starting to eat them, they go stale. And he assumed it would work with the bagolum as well. And so from that day forward, the Maharal made Frankenbagel promise he would never try to make a crazy creation like that again. And they even took the bagolum, the stale giant bagel and brought it back to Frankenbagel's shop. And they put it in the back room where he used to work on his creations. And some say that today that giant bagel is still there in the back of Frankenbagel's shop in Prague. But no one will know because it's been locked and no one can get in. But from that day forth, Frankenbagel never tried to make another crazy concoction. He knew that cutting corners and trying to make something that would help his work easier and get him off the hook wasn't the thing to do. So he stuck to making the most delicious bagels he ever could. But there was one experiment he kept trying. He still tried to make that cinnamon raisin bagel something delicious. One day maybe he will. Boker Tov.
I can't wait to hear the sequel, The Bride of Frankenbagel. Miss Wendy, you don't happen to know any songs about Frankenbagel? Well, that was a beautiful story, Brian. We are going to turn now to Elena, and if there have been any birthdays in the past week or the week to come, I'd like to invite you up to open up our ark doors. So don't be shy. Come on up, open up our ark doors, or help us. Any birthdays? Yes, no, maybe? All right. All right, if there are no birthdays, we're going to open up our ark doors. Please rise for the Elena.
He can tell the story anytime, as far as I'm concerned. You guys, get it straight. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu koreim, Umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad. In case you need it. Go back.
So we're now going to turn to the prayer for those who have passed away, those people who are in our lives, who we've cared for, and whose footsteps we walk. Particularly in our hearts and minds, we are thinking of dear people. We are thinking of Suzanne Salitra and Neville Sender, for whom we mark the period of Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period. I'm going to invite all of you to take a moment and think of people in your life who you remember, who have helped to set you on your path, and who may not physically be with us here today, but are spiritually here with us. Let's take a moment of silence as we think of those dear members of our families and our communities. It's good to think about our loved ones and to remember them and to remember their values and to walk this earth in such a way that it would make them proud. And so we think now also of all those who died due to war or terrorism, all those who died in defense of our nation's ideals. We think of all those who have died due to this terrible virus that has stricken our nation and our globe, as well as those who have died due to the virus of racism and xenophobia. We also think of all those who've died in the Holocaust. We rise now as one community as we recite these sacred words together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, be'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevorach leolam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Jamiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. We're going to turn to some announcements, and Brian is going to make some announcements on behalf of the school and our community. Before we do that, it's Halloween. A lot of you are going to be trick-or-treating today. I just want you to remember to look both ways, to be safe, to be cautious, and just keep an awareness about you when you're out on walking the neighborhoods. We want you to all have fun, but we want you to be safe as well.
All right, so today, before trick-or-treating even, if you are in our youth choir, we are meeting today from 11:30 to 11:50 right here in the sanctuary. So youth choir, come right here when the bell rings. This Friday night, November 5th, is the 5th and 6th grade Family Shabbat. Everyone is invited to join us for Family Shabbat. It's a fun musical service designed for our school families, and the 5th and 6th graders have been preparing to help lead parts of our service, as well as our youth choir will also be leading part of that service. Next Sunday, our Shinshins are visiting. Our Shinshins are the Israeli high school graduates who come here for the year. Some of our classes will get to meet with them next week. Don't worry if you don't. You'll get a chance later this year. Everyone's going to get a chance to meet the Shinshins, and they'll come say hi during services next week. And finally, in 2 weeks from today, on November 14th, we're going to Rainbow Day Camp again for our next Family Education Day. So instead of coming here in the morning, we're all going to go up to Rainbow Day Camp. Please ask your parents to check their emails from today. There's a link for them to register so we know that you're coming. We'd love to see you there. It's so much fun, and it's the chance for our whole school to gather in one place at one time, which at this point we still can't do safely in our building. So I hope to see all of you there. And finally, I know for Aleinu we didn't have anyone with a birthday in here, but I do want to say happy birthday in 2nd grade to Jordan Schachter. And if on the count of 3, we can all say Yom Huledet Sameach wherever you are. So he'll hear, if you're in the school wing, he'll hear you down there. And if you're here, we'll say it loud enough that he'll hear us through the sound. So Yom Huledet Sameach on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yom Huledet Sameach!
Boker Tov, everyone. Have a great day.
Great day indeed.
Do we have a closing song?
Wait, we're not, hang on.
Sorry, my mistake.
It's all good.
So I'm stretching on your story.
Yeah.
If I don't stand up for myself, then who will stand for me? If I don't know me, who's gonna show me? And if I don't stand for another, then who is my brother? How can I hold my head up high? Imeinani li mili, uksha'ani la'atzmi ma'ani, ve'im lo akshav eimatai, im lo akshav eimatai, im einani li mili, uksha'ani la'atzmi ma'ani, ve'im lo akshav eimatai, im lo akshav eimatai. Be kind to everybody.
Thank you, Miss Wendy. Boker Tov, everyone. Have a great morning. Follow your teacher's instructions.